Go.
Hey guys, big topic of conversation I wanted to speak with you about was we put a post up last week and it's gone absolutely bananas. It was on Michael's LinkedIn and Facebook and the company. And something that was really interesting that we saw that came through from the feedback was there was a lot of haters about the traffic, about what was it,
Many Units In Dee, calling DY unit, what is it, Penrith by the Sea now?
Yeah. And we're pretty passionate about the area, so we wanted to address it. And a big thing that we found, and we had a lot of conversations about it.
And data research.
And data research.
Yep.
We even brought it up with the entire team, so we've got a team of 50 here, so we put it into our meeting, and it was quite heated about what's happening in the area. So we just wanted to let you guys know some numbers. And as we spoke, Michael's brilliant with his numbers. So Michael, we were saying a big change of DYs when you drive past, all of the units that are being built are actually on the main road, so it feels like there's even more units in the area. But you were talking about traffic was one of the big ones?
Yeah, some of the key numbers are like the population of DY has grown 15%, so, and then the amount of car usage is up 25%. So that really addresses where a lot of people are complaining, which is rightfully so, the traffic and the congestion. When your population has grown 15% and car usage is up 25%, you're gonna notice it and feel it.
So let's look at these numbers, Michael. You said over 5 years cars are up, so that means more people in a household having a car. In 5 years cars are up.
Yes, and the population 25%.
And then you were saying amount of people actually dwelling in DY is up how much?
15%.
Okay, this is a big stinger that we spoke about. If there's 8,500 units currently in DY, Meriton builds, Osprey builds, Carlisle builds, all the DAs get built. What does that number come to? That's
only an extra about 6% of units in DY. There's probably about 500 DA approved and under construction at the moment. But a lot of people are worried about oversupply. A lot of these units have been sold 2, 3, 4 years ago. So not to worry about that, but then there will be the issue of added extra population and more cars.
You know, the big one I just thought about is we're looking at population growth, car growth, and accommodating that growth just over the last 5 years. But there's been no new development in DY.
No new housing, and we can tell that.
For like 30 years.
Correct.
So we haven't accommodated the cars that have grown over 30 years, the population have grown over 30 years in new properties in the area.
And that's why we've had such strong capital growth. With DY over the last 10 years has gone 100% above. So to balance, there's going to be that balancing between affordability and housing. If we don't have any new housing, with the population growing, we could soon see one-bedder units costing $1 million and renting $1,000 per week if we don't have that balance between housing and population growth.
It's an interesting argument if you don't put in any new properties into the area at all, freeze, and the population will continue to grow, it just does, and the cars continue to grow, it just does. You're right, that you're possibly paying $2 million for a one-bedroom unit and a phenomenal high rent, so it makes it unaffordable. So I guess for us to keep housing, as a country, as a state and as a local area, affordable for people, if we're going to keep bringing people into this country, and I believe it's something like 250,000 a year, they're all going to gravitate to Sydney, they're all going to gravitate to
by the water.
By the water, they're going to gravitate to Melbourne, by the city. So we really have to accommodate these guys, otherwise the locals have been enjoying the area for a very long time, don't have any other option. We're not going to lock out people that are coming into the area, they're just going to come. So interesting numbers, thank you.
No problem.
And anything else we want to cap off on? I think we covered most of that stuff because the amount of feedback on that Facebook video
was outrageous. I think it was about 130 comments. But once again, it's like we're having all these growths but no new roads. We're still travelling on the same roads. But luckily we've got the B line, which should help.
Well, that's right. Roads haven't changed. So we've had all this population growth over the
new
40 years. We've had all these new cars hitting the road over 34 years. I remember I'm Serbian background, and there was when people were coming to Australia and migrating, they didn't have a car. So a lot of the key workers and immigrants coming to the country, they didn't have a car, and now these households,
Everyone has a car.
Oh, it's nuts. So
There's 2 or 3 cars per household,
Yeah.
even if you're living in a unit.
So mum's got a car, dad's got a car, and then, you know, up and like a teenager, 16, 17 is getting a car.
Yep.
There's where there was potentially a lot of homes that had no cars, there's now 3 cars. So it's almost doubling into the grid or tripling into the grid. So parking has become harder.
That's the thing, and I feel a lot of people would get behind housing, additional housing, if there were bigger changes towards the roads and parking as well. Not many people complain about knocking down an old run-down building and putting brand new cafes, brand new apartments, but it's that balance between putting new apartments in and having worse traffic. Like on a Saturday, we're out doing open homes, sometimes it could be 40 minutes to get to Mona Vale, 30 minutes to get to Manly, which is a bit of a joke.
And the roads haven't changed. Look, you know, we're not offering any solutions here, but we are just sort of trying to focus on some things that aren't really being focused on, and that, a lot of that stuff came up in that Facebook feed. We're not particularly pro. We've got to develop. We're not particularly pro. You've got to get rid of cars. We're not particularly pro. That is, you know, stopping the population growth. To be honest. It's probably a toothless tiger if we tried any of those things. But I think understanding those things is super important.
And it was really good to hear everyone's view. I'd like to hear yours. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to hear yours. So let us know what you think. If you're hating it, or you're loving it, or what you're thinking about DY, particularly with the development stuff in the area, because it is a big change. It is a big topic of conversation. I'm personally really excited about the future of DY. We saw the big morph on the DY beachfront 20 years ago, the big change, and suddenly it's sexy. And our village, you know, that big morph is currently happening, and suddenly it'll be a really cool place and sexy place to live. So we're pumped about it. So thanks for listening, guys.
Cheers.